Hey, Black women. I just wanted to come and give you my opinion of everything that's going on with this whole Bumble ad campaign that is trying to subliminally get you to go back to dating and having children and keeping yourself stuck in this merry-go-round of poverty, impoverishment, a spiral downward when you are partnering yourself with Black males who are not working, not educated, who are not mature in the mind, who are overly violent, who are quick to beat Black women down, quick to sexually assault your children, quick to end your life, quick to end your children's lives, quick to put your little Black girls out on the street corner to sell themselves, quick to human traffic Black women and girls, quick to do everything detrimental to Black women, quick to make videos online about how you have a bad attitude, you're the least desirable, you're ugly, you're not what Black males want if you're not a white woman or non-Black woman. This is what these ads are trying to get you to neglect, forget, and at the same time get you to continue to be their moneymaker, like a pimp and a hoe out on the strip. What they're doing is they're paying attention to our videos. Once again, Black women, I tell y'all, which is why you got to be careful of the videos you're putting online. And if you're going to give a message, give a positive message that inspires and uplifts Black women to center themselves, put themselves first, and do what is in their best interest, not in the interest of religion, family, and children. If these Black women do not want to have children, they want to live their lives being happy, single, and free, clap your hands and stomp your goddamn feet and let them do what makes them happy and free in this life. We have lived almost 500 years in captivity in this North America. It is about time we feel like these motherfuckers take their foot off our neck, okay? So ads like this only want to make you fall back into being the consumer, the number one consumer in America there is, because producers like Bumble pride themselves on hoodwinking, gaslighting, and tricking you into giving these people your money to constantly use your imaging, your personality, your real person when you're on these dating sites, to create money for them and give you nothing but these useless motherfucking Black males in return. They have paywall features on here that pretend to tell you you're going to go to a higher tier of so-called man when you pay more for the service. And then when you get on that other side of the service, it's the same rotated motherfuckers that don't have nothing going on for them but wanting to get free sex, sending dick pics, and talking about dumb shit because they have nothing to offer Black women. And it is about time you Black women understand that. And it's sad to say, but you really need to open your dating options or just become completely abstinent, the same way this ad is telling you that celibacy is not an option when it actually is. Sometimes as Black women, you have to really sit down and understand that you are the money maker for America. You pay these websites to use your image. You don't get nothing out of it, just like a pimp would do you for the pleasure and the free sex and the possibility of everything free a woman can offer a man by using these websites. You are literally prostituting yourself out by being on these websites. These websites have nothing but the most derelict, lecherous, unproductive, evil, will kill you, put you on the Black femicide list, having Black males and white males, as we have seen in many of the cases of our sisters in the months that have passed, where they are dismembering our sisters and taking their lives without batting their eye. So this is why things like the 4B movement and Black women centering themselves and just completely separating from Black males and males in general, getting your money up, getting your education up, and improving your life is what all Black women on YouTube should be promoting right now. Black women, pay attention to the progress and the achievements the 4B movement in Asia is making. Those women are now at the point where they can negotiate with government for higher pay, better housing, payment for having children, payment for childcare, everything. Everything that women contribute to this life, these women have stood down so long that the government is sitting down with them at the table, trying to negotiate a better life for these women. Black women, you could do the same thing here in America, where we no longer have to see insulting, ignorant, ridiculous ass videos of young Black women who selfishly went out into this world and had children from 15 and up, and has 7 children, 5 to 7 children, and then she's turning them into ACS because she's angry and has a problem and wants to prove a point with her deadbeat baby daddies. So she does it at the expense of her children. When you stand down and stand firm, 10 toes down on celibacy, leveling up, centering yourself, West 4B movement, and just non-involvement with males, period, when it comes to free sex, relationships, marriage, dating, when you know all of these things are rooted in patriarchy and are not beneficial to Black women. When you walk away from that shit and you make yourself the star player in your life and the primary goal of what it is you want in life, yourself, you look at ads like this and you shake your head, but you make sure you write an email to let them know you are not interested in what they're selling and how insulting this shit is, because all of that matters as well. What I want you to understand, that by them having these ridiculous freaking ads that they have, trying to get Black women to continue to use dating sites when they are fully aware of the fact that Black women are being killed, dismembered, beaten, sold into human traffic, killed by serial killers that are on these online dating apps. They don't care. They're telling you that they're only interested in their bottom line, which is making $1 off of you, your image and your physical body, going back on those websites, going date after date and out into real life on dates where they are pimping you and using you. And that is the only interest they have in you, is so that you could generate that money, bring it home for them while you walk away empty-handed. I need y'all to understand that. The rest of this video is really just going to be about showing you the dangers of online dating and the things that have truly happened to our other fellow Black women through Black femicide, and the serial killers and the sick bastards that wait and hunt Black women online, because they understand we are the least protected in society. The government does not care about us. They don't care if we die every day, every 4 to 5 hours of the day, because they refuse to pass the HR bill to protect Black women and girls. They refuse to do it. They refuse to get an executive order for the protection of Black women and girls, to stop the human trafficking of Black women and girls. They refuse to do these things. So when the government does not help you, and money-making, pimping agencies and businesses like Bumble, you stop using them. You walk away from them. You do not involve yourself or participate in what they're doing, and they will crumble. They will go away. That is you, Black woman, exercising the control over your economic dollar and economic empowerment. Boycott everything and walk away from everything that does not benefit you in this society, this government, and you will crumble America as it fucking stands. And they know it, which is why they have to put out all these subliminal messages to you to get you back in line. You show them that you're not some goddamn dumb empty-headed bobblehead fool. You understand that men are dangerous. They're running around punching women in the street and attacking women. And just the other day in Buffalo, New York, a Hispanic man tried to rape a Hispanic woman behind a car parked in the street and onto somebody's porch, where two other women, the woman that lived next door to the incident happening, and a lady just walking down the street, literally fought this man to get him off this woman. These are the times we're living in, y'all. Not to mention all the attacks that happen to Black women every day, and probably one happening right now as I speak to you. This is why Black women, celibacy is your answer. Leveling up, centering yourself, the West 4B movement, and just caring about yourself and being childless and interested in money, education, and living your better life is what you should be out here doing, and not giving in to people telling you that you need to be married to suffer for the rest of your life, or not even the rest of your life, because marriage lasts as long. Most marriages last less than 10 years. And when you're with a fool that long, not only do you waste your time, but you end up giving that idiot the rest of your money for the rest of your life. When you're married to these fools past 7 years, they get half of your Social Security, half of your pension if you have anything, half of any of your retirement you have put away, such as a 457, 401, whatever, any type of deferred compensation. Once you are married to them past 7 years, you are giving them half of everything you work for. Do not do it. If they want things, let them get their ass out there and work for it in life. Do not be a bang maid or a hospice wife. Let them work and take care of their own goddamn lives. That's all they do, is look for Black women to sponge off of, beat, abuse, and kill, and do the same to our daughters. As you saw the other day in the grooming of our little girls with that teacher in the classroom, having those young girls take out his hair. We're worth more than these people using and abusing us like we're still chattel in America. We are women with the right to live full, free, unburdened lives. Understand that. I'm going to be showing you these things now, and I want y'all to remember, and I want y'all to stay focused on things that this country allows to happen to us without anyone giving a damn about it. And it's so sad, because these are the things that people need to be concerned with. This is what you need to show your daughter and teach your daughters to avoid, because they want the worst for us. You notice how these ads have nothing but Black women in them, right? You don't see any white women, and you're not going to. You're never going to see white women in these ads for these people to slaughter and take advantage of, as if they don't matter, because those white women do matter to them, but we don't. We don't matter to them.
Employee I met. She always had a compliment or a hug or a dance.
Kirby Clark is the president of Pizza Shuttle.
We saw what was in the news yesterday with the community efforts, and we thought we could offer a safe space, one that wouldn't get taken down, that people can come and remember her in a place that she loved.
Why?
I don't know that I can do that one.
Even on a rainy day, the clouds opened up, making way for a rainbow as family and friends showered the shuttle in pink, Sade's favorite color. As Sade's family continues their search for her remains,
We're nowhere near finished.
people across Milwaukee are keeping her name alive.
This is a space that the community can use, as much as they want.
In Milwaukee, Kaylee Starrell, TMJ4 News.
All right. So these are the things that they do to us. And these are the results of us being online, people listening to our videos and feeling like the things that we say online make us easy prey for these people to do what they want to us. And so when we remove ourselves and we do become celibate, they no longer have access to us and these things stop. And when we begin to speak up, about what is happening to us, right? We also stop this nonsense. And we begin to understand just how important we are, okay? Because that's a lot of what's happening, is that we don't actually believe we're as important as we need to be when we are. Those of us that have high self-esteem and self-confidence and understand that relationships don't make us, we don't need validation from Black males. We don't need to be only focused and feeling like we're supposed to only be with them. If you just gotta have a damn relationship, where I don't think you should, but you live your life for you, but you need to do it safely. And remember that if you want to create Black males in the future, if you have sons that are better than the trash that's out here now, you cannot put Black males before your children. You have to be a good mother. You have to have structure in your home and raise your son into a man. And yes, you can do that as a Black woman. You have to stop believing all this nonsense these Black males and patriarchy tells you. You are more powerful than you know, if only you just start believing in yourself and doing all the things to remove all of these dysfunctions and these harmful, deadly people, Black males, out of your life.
Feel like that they care as much as we care.
She was found by a man she allegedly met on the dating app Bumble, according to a police incident report provided by the family attorney. The man is 37 years old and white, according to public record, and he called the police, according to the incident report, when he says he woke up next to her and she was not breathing.
Listen, we all know that they fumbled the ball on this woman's case, as well as another sister that was taken out the same way that week. So these are all the things, Black women, I beg you to consider when you are on these dating apps and you have Black women on the internet telling you to go divestors specifically, who are literally saying out of their mouths to go chase after chase after white males like Divested Diamond or Divested Chrysalis, whatever her name is, and people like DZ. You don't want to be doing things like that. And I might add another thing that those particular type divestors do is teach you to hate your other Black sisters and make you lack empathy for when Black women are killed. Don't do that. We're all in the same fight as Black women. And once we understand that all these naysayers on here about sisterhood don't have it right, and we begin to look out for each other and take care of each other, we could actually start seeing some progress with Black women, and things like this will stop happening, because mothers will protect daughters and daughters will go to their mothers and be guided by their love and parental guidance the way things should go to protect our young and old.
The man who found Lauren is not currently considered a person of interest. What is the family's response to that?
The family is very insulted by that. They weren't looked at as a person of interest, and we feel that is racially motivated.
Tonight, her death ruled an accident by the Connecticut chief medical examiner. The cause of death is multiple drugs, including fentanyl and alcohol. According to the police report, the man told police that the night before, the two were drinking tequila and Smithfields became ill and, quote, went to the bathroom to vomit. They continued drinking and she fell asleep. The report makes no reference to the two having sexual relations that night. The man says he heard Smithfield snoring around 3:30 a.m. When police arrived before 7 a.m., she had been, quote, dead for at least an hour or more and had dried blood in and around her right nostril.
The family is alleging a racially insensitive handling of the case, that their civil rights were violated. What exactly are you referring to?
Now, listen, I just want to point out a couple of things that should have been blatantly obvious when you heard that, right? These people made sure to try to point out the fact that they didn't have sexual relations when you know they did, right? He's laying in the bed with her. She's passed out. He supposedly hears her snoring at 3 o'clock, but magically by 7 in the morning, an hour before, she's not responsive and she has blood, dried blood in her nose. Now listen, I'm not a coroner, but I have been a police officer, and a lot of times people with dry blood in their nose is for quite a few things. And a lot of things that comes to mind is asphyxiation, but not to the point where it totally takes a person out. But there's so many things that can happen. So it goes to show you with just that dry blood in her nose that there was some violence happening. But they're doing everything to eliminate this dude from any type of accountability. And did you notice, and I let it play for the ribbon to show to let y'all see that this was also a Bumble case, okay? It was a Bumble case. And it's ridiculous. Hold on one moment. I want to do something else.
Thing policy-wise that can be done to bring that number down, because it feels to me like, you know, that's not just a crisis, that's a crisis that's happening that is almost not almost, but it's underreported. You know, if somebody was dying of, I can't even say that in the pandemic anymore, but I feel like the fact that it's this amount every single day means that there should be policy action. What should those policies be?
I specifically am looking to legislation to be put in place that addresses the violence within our communities. Specifically, much like the legislation that has been brought forth for the missing and murdered Indigenous women, that is really my mission and goal, is to have legislation put in place for Black women and girls, that same type of legislation. In fact, there is only one state within the union that actually addresses missing and murdered Black women and girls, and that's the state of Minnesota. They actually have a task force set up to start addressing that issue within their state.
Okay, so we remember this, right? And we also remember that she no longer is involved with the fight for Black femicide because Black women dragged her, as you guys say, up and down this internet when all she was doing was trying to remind Black women that there are serious dangers out here in this damn world where it concerns Black women. And we need to be mindful of that. And we need to start taking the precautions we need to. Here is a point of Black femicide that not many people talk about, and it is how it starts early with our teenage girls when they get into relationships with these guys in high school, and sometimes these grown-ass men that sit in their cars outside the high schools that nobody reports to the police, and the little girls don't tell their parents or officials in school about to make sure these perverts and pedophiles are arrested. It is completely disgusting the things they do to our girls. And I, for one, am tired of this shit. And I really want Black women to continue the charge, man. Stay by yourself. Do what you need to do for you and your children, if you have them, and leave these men to fend on their own. Fuck all that shit about being scared about how violent things are going to become. Gear up. Get your guns, get your knives, get whatever you need. Get your martial arts learned. Go outside prepared. Don't ever go outside where you could become somebody's victim. If somebody approaches you or they challenge you, you stand your ground and you go toe to toe. Your life depends on it. Don't believe these women when they tell you you don't have a winning chance simply because you're a woman and every man is supposed to be stronger than you and you got no chance at all, no hope of winning. That's bullshit. As soon as you have a weapon, that is called the great fucking equalizer. And now your odds of besting him and fucking him up the way he would do you is just the same. So you put that in your mind and you put that in your fucking action. And you give that motherfucker all of you if he comes for you. That's what you do.
My first up close and personal experience with intimate partner violence was in the 10th grade when a middle school friend's mother and brother were murdered by her mom's ex-boyfriend. The 15-year-old was even shot while escaping through a window while carrying her infant sister to safety because the gunman intended to kill them all that night. When police arrived on the scene, the murderer, Scott Davis, screamed, "I shot them, I did it, and I'll do it again." Only when he faced death penalty charges did he apologize while accepting a plea deal. My friend, a bubbly and vivacious girl with her whole life in front of her, then had to face that life without her family. At 18, when speaking at the life sentencing of her mother's murderer, she said, "I don't understand how someone could destroy somebody's life like this. It's something that will haunt me for the rest of my life." Her mother had attempted to get the boyfriend drug treatment and domestic violence counseling to no avail. When she asked him to move out, he agreed. But instead of leaving, he made a deadly decision. Years later, when an ex-boyfriend woke me from my sleep with his hands around my neck, attempting to crush my windpipe in a rage, I thought of my friend and her mother. Before diving into this video, I want to make something clear before anyone attempts to lead a deflective argument in the comments. Intimate partner violence is not limited to any race, country, gender, or sexual orientation. It has been a long-running feature of patriarchal society in numerous civilizations and cultures, not just during the 244 years of official American existence. At least 4 million American women a year of all races are abused by their partners, and this includes homosexual relationships. In fact, women in these relationships grapple with their own unique experiences of psychological aggression, gender role posturing, and mutual violence that must be addressed on a wide scale by someone in that community. Additionally, it was reported that 1 in 5 men experience intimate partner violence in America in 2016, and a global look at intimate partner violence shows that the problem is widespread. And
we know it's widespread, and we know that there are agencies like Black Femicide UK and Black Femicide Canada and Black Femicide South America. There are so many people out here talking about the violence that is perpetuated against Black women and girls by Black males. Now, I let her run because I don't want to invalidate any other type women's experiences by the patriarchy and the control and need to dominate women by other men, because we know it exists. We all know women who live through the fear that Black women fear. But I want my messages to Black women, and for Black women to understand, you need to stand up. You need to throw away all of those old belief systems and taught practices and behaviors from family, religion, and etc. of why it is you should sit there and allow some dude to beat you down, take advantage of you, and just do any damn thing he wants to you. That is why the West 4B movement, centering yourself, just walking away, leveling up, is important. Because if you want to survive and have a long old life, you need to get that notion of thinking that your happiness only comes from being in a relationship with a dude who's going to go upside your head and who is going to most likely take your life by Black femicide. We know this to be true. The majority of these Black males in every community throughout America are violent and hate Black women. They tell you that every day online. even though you have recent pandering, because they're trying to safeguard and keep intact the relationships with women who feel so desperate to need a man to have a place to stay, a black woman to give them money to survive, a car to drive around with, to victimize other black women and little girls. This is the reality of our communities. And when you let things that are really true and happening in everyday life scare the shit out of you, it will scare your ass straight to knowing that the best thing you could do is get away from all of these black males that are present today. Let all of them die out. Let them die out, get sick, die, kill themselves up, do whatever the fuck they got to do to get away from you and your daughters. Because all they intend to do is tear you down and make you have nothing in life, because they feel conquered and feel defeated to the point where they don't have anything in life. Misery loves fucking company. So much so, I'm about to show you a whole documentary that has been made several times about all of the most prolific serial killers in America who were black males killing black women and girls just for the fucking fun of it for centuries damn near. You have to see all of these different documentaries. It'll make your head spin. I never knew there were that many of them, but I'm gonna just show you a few. So let's begin.
Between 2005 and 2006, the city of Phoenix, Arizona became the hunting ground for a prolific and violent serial killer who was targeting the community.
What made the Baseline Killers murders so terrifying was the fact that they appeared to be at random. Every single person was different, and it was in different locations, and we had no idea when he was going to strike next.
Police were baffled as women were snatched from the street and the bodies started piling up. The pressure was mounting on detectives to find the elusive killer.
So you've got a ton of information and a ton of deaths and a ton of multiple robbers and shootings and rapes. It overwhelmed
a black man, okay?
A year after it had been collected, a DNA swab from one of the victims would finally give the terrorized city some answers.
They ran the DNA test, they ran the ballistics, and that was the match. And that's how they connected all of the murders.
A seemingly mild-mannered construction worker, Mark Goodo, had unveiled himself as Phoenix's notorious Baseline Killer. His hunger for kidnapping, rape, and murder on his neighborhood has made him one of the world's most evil killers.
I show you these things for you to know that the things I'm saying about these dudes are not a figment of my imagination, not just me wanting to be a black male hater. No, it is the fact that these dudes are dangerous. And once you realize this, you will walk through life differently, and you will stay away from these dudes that are not playing out here with you. They're not. They're not playing, and they are extremely freaking dangerous. And they're out here hunting you because they know that the police don't really care. And by the time they get around to finally finding out who this black male is, he has already racked up probably almost 100 black women and girls under his belt. This is what they do. Not only this, y'all need to check out some of those Lifetime movies online for the black Lifetime movies, and look at all of the movies about black women who have survived serial killers and kidnappings and abductions right off the street. It'll show you that these guys you should never be thinking about getting into a relationship. God forbid having children with them, or even ever bringing these dudes into your house. You should never be thinking about that.
Because they are black serial killers. While movies like The Silence of the Lambs and the television series Dexter focus exclusively on white serial killers, There is so little public information about black serial killers, they are almost a myth. For years, the FBI profile of a typical serial killer described them as white males, 20 to 40 years old, who reside in the area of their murders. But of the roughly 2,000 serial killers believed to be currently active in the United States, it is estimated that roughly 22% are men like Samuel Little, the Grim Sleeper, and the Sunday Morning Slash.
I just want to reiterate that, okay? Did you hear that man say the current 2,000 serial killers in America? You hear that, right? The current 2,000 serial killers in America. Okay? Fair use, by the way, for all the clips used thus far and current and going forward. Credit to all of the YouTube channels that I have used, which will be linked in the description for you to go on to view the entire video that have been put up by these creators and news stations that provided the stories. Black women hear that he said current 2,000 serial killers.
Slasher. Black serial killers are no myth.
Wait, let's run it back because I want y'all to hear that.
Them as white males, 20 to 40 years old, who reside in the area of their murders. But of the roughly 2,000 serial killers believed to be currently active in the United States, it is estimated that roughly 22% are men like Samuel Little, the Grim Sleeper, and the Sunday Morning Slasher. Black serial killers are no myth.
After this video, your life is never going to be the same. So I need you to stop whatever you're doing and give me your
Prior to my work, there wasn't a whole lot about black serial killers.
Very few people have studied black serial killers. Dr. Alan Branson, a retired police lieutenant investigator with the Philadelphia Police Department and current criminal justice professor at Arcadia University in Philadelphia. He graduated the FBI's National Academy Session 250. His research explores perceptions based on media representations of ethnic groups, as well as the historic interpersonal and political discourse that influences communications and the criminal justice process. His doctoral thesis, The Anatomy of African American Serial Killers, a continuum of negative imagery from slavery to prisons, was published in 2016.
Here in Philadelphia, you had Harrison Marty Graham, who I interviewed in 2006.
Harrison Frank Marty Graham was born on September 9, 1959 in Philadelphia. He was the oldest of 5 children. Early on, he showed signs of an intellectual disability, had problems with academic performance and discipline at school. Graham attended high school but was forced to drop out after his sophomore year due to his failing grades and chronic absences. In 1971, his mother would claim that Graham was diagnosed with a mental disorder and spent 2 years in a mental hospital. The claim was never verified. In the early 1970s, Graham started to work in construction. In 1979, he left his parents' house and moved to North Philadelphia. He began to drink alcohol and use drugs. In 1983, Graham rented an apartment in a housing complex with mostly vacant spaces. A number of residents, including Graham himself, fenced off an area of the parking lot as a place to buy and sell drugs. He turned his apartment into a drug den where friends and acquaintances would often visit to buy and use drugs. Graham regularly paid his rent and played basketball with the local youth, living off his disability pension, and was described as a nice man by friends and neighbors. Summer 1987. Graham's neighbors complained to the landlord about a foul odor coming from Graham's apartment. On August 9th, the landlord demands that Graham vacate the premises. Graham refuses to let anyone in, blocking the front door with boards before collecting his personal items and fleeing via the fire escape. Unable to enter the apartment, the landlord calls the police. The police break the door down, finding a naked corpse of a black woman and a partially dressed corpse of another. They also find traces of blood, drugs, and a layer of garbage over a foot high, a pile of dirty mattresses, and a skeleton. In the closet, more remains wrapped in a blanket. While inspecting the roof, investigators find a green duffel bag with the bones of another victim's hands, feet, and legs. An excavation of the basement reveals a skull, rib cage, and pelvic bone belonging to a seventh victim. Since all but 2 of the bodies were in a state of severe decomposition, the police found it difficult to determine their cause of death. The cause of the other 2 was strangulation. Graham was put on the wanted list, and during the following week, he was reportedly seen on public transportation, at fast food restaurants, homeless shelters, and a car wash, but avoided capture each time.
Okay, you know I can't let the whole thing play, so I will put the link down below so y'all can hear about what happens to this piece of shit. But I want you black women to understand this is why you don't go to these dudes' houses. You don't go to these dudes' homes, and you do not let them come to yours. The whole point of dating, if you're going to do it, which I do not suggest you do it, is to take your damn time to learn and to make sure you're going to be safe with these fucking maniacs. But in order to avoid this and make sure you don't have to think about any of this shit, you just stay away from them altogether, because me showing you this is to always let you have this in the front of your mind about the possibilities these dudes bring when you feel like you just got to have some black dick, or you want to have a black male because no other man can satisfy you. You're always taking the chance of ending up like these women in these videos, because these motherfuckers are sick. The majority of them are like this dude in this video. A lot of them just waiting to make it happen, some doing it on the low, and others prolific like a motherfucker. And y'all know this to be true. So stop with this fantasy about these black males, because there's always something wrong with all of them when you really get down to it. There's another dude over here I wanted to show. This is the I-45 serial killer in Texas. That's another one that's really good. You guys need to check that out. I don't want to play that right now, but I get aggravated. I get aggravated because black women, you know that these things are happening. You know that these dudes are dangerous. It is the things they say. It's the things they do when you are around them. And you still continue to act like they pose you no threat. They pose you no harm. When in fact, you know they do. You know they do. It's incredible. It is really incredible how you just don't want to. You don't want to deal with the facts about things. You want to act like these guys are, because they're black like you, they're there for you to live out a fantasy of thinking that these guys are never going to do anything to you. They're just great, when they're absolutely not. The last thing I want to show you guys is this feature here where when women come off of these dating websites, these companies, to keep these guys frustrated and intoxicated and infatuated with black women when it comes to us, because this video is about the subliminal message and direct messaging of black women ending celibacy and getting back on these dating apps. They use live stimuli through AI to have these guys literally losing their fucking minds and wanting women, and thus helping these serial killers these domestic violence batterers, these Black femicide committers, these Black human traffickers. It feeds their drive. It feeds their urge. It feeds their desire. This is the shit they do when you're not on the app. So this is more of a reason not to be on the app. This is more of a reason to be vigilant about your safety, protect yourself, carry your weapons, and stay away from Black males. And stay away from all males, period. And heavily get involved in the West 4B movement so that your quality of life in America can change. And so that there are actually laws that are put into practice to protect Black women and girls, to increase your salary, to increase the possibility of housing and home ownership, better health care, child care, etc. Your quality of life is important. And you stand to gain all of this by staying vigilant with staying by yourself, staying celibate, and staying out of relationships with Black males, especially, who are dangerous and hazardous to your health and will kill you, and other males just the same. It is survival out here, Black women, survival. But this is what they do to feed these beasts.
Woman who convinced him to make an investment.
And then that's one day she's like, honey, I love you. And I'm like, what? And I said, well, I'm old enough to be your dad. And she said, well, that doesn't matter. We have a lot in common.
She also sent these photos in what appears to be a sketch of herself and Jim together. Jim initially met her after getting a mysterious text message. He thought they had a friend in common.
She goes, I've never met anybody to be my equal. She's had an uncle who was on the board for the stock exchange in Hong Kong.
He was convinced to send $60,000 to that stock exchange. He says he lost most of it because the investment tanked. Then the woman opened up an overseas crypto account in his name, but when Jim tried to take that money out, he was going to be charged thousands of dollars in upfront tax fees. Experts say it's a scam.
I'll try somebody online. It couldn't hurt. I was wrong. It could.
This suburban man, also named Jim, was duped by fake photos. He asked us not to show his face.
I'm asked literally every day for money.
He was looking for love online and instead lost thousands of dollars sending gift cards to people using these fake and altered photos. He thought the women holding these love messages to him were interested in meeting.
She probably got about $2,000. And one day she got $300 for airfare, $250 for a babysitter.
Security and technology experts at Bitdefender and NordVPN studied all of the pictures and that video we showed you earlier. They say behind this filtered face could be anyone.
We miss micro emotions or movements in the face.
They confirm that the majority of these pictures and the video are fake or altered in some way.
You usually see that hair, either it has this halo effect or it blends into a different color.
Experts also spotted generated faces on bodies and different shaped hands, like these hands holding up those signs saying, I love you, Jim.
Handwritten notes, which actually were not handwritten.
The words are likely computer generated. Experts say you should also look for uneven tooth shapes or earrings that look unusual.
You get a random text, and if you're a single guy, and then you get a picture of a woman that looks fairly attractive, I mean, that's the hook.
So never send money and meet for coffee.
Exactly.
Just my desire to have somebody in my life made me really do something that was stupid.
AI scammers may also use enduring terms like babe and honey instead of your real name because they are using the same messages for multiple people. Unfortunately, these types of romance scams with or without AI have gotten worse. Recent numbers from the Federal Trade Commission show $1.3 billion were lost in 2022, Rob and Cheryl. But like that dating expert said, you know, it's so easy to fall for this. You see those pictures, you're lonely, and they're convincing.
Wow, so revealing and eye-opening. Great.
Those two men are not alone.
Yeah.
A lot of people getting
a lot of money lost.
Okay, I want to point out something that this guy said that is seriously a topic as well. And we won't go into those videos because we have seen all of the therapists come out and talk about this, right? Which is the epidemic of male loneliness, right? So this is the reason why a lot of these online dating sites, in addition to having real women, will take pictures of you women who are putting your pictures up there looking for these loser ass dudes, enhance them, equip them with AI mobility, and then, like I said earlier, resell your image over and over again to thirst trap and money trap dudes all the time, building the violence level for women in society. This is another main serious reason to stay off of all of these dating sites. When you don't go in these dating sites, these stupid ass males will learn that these women are AI generated, that they're automated, and they'll pull away. And hopefully those of them that are somewhat still able to function in society the way a man is supposed to will bring his dusty ass out into society, get a job, get an education, get some mannerisms, learn some damn etiquette, and have manners and period, get some emotional intelligence and learn intelligence and sit down and learn to speak to women. Learn to have a personality. Learn to understand that you having a job and dangling money in front of a woman's face is not enough for a relationship. And you feeling like someone is supposed to cook you food, give you free sex, wash your clothes, and listen and obey your orders like a dog or a pet is not what makes a relationship, and is not what is attractive to women. Fully developed, self-efficated women do not like men to lord and attempt to control them. Fully efficated women are women who understand that right now it's not safe to be in a relationship, but whenever, if ever, the time comes where you can be in one, you are looking for a male adult or man who understands that a relationship is about commitment, it is about sacrifice, it is about compromise, and it is about respect, equal levels of respect for two individuals. There is no lead, you follow, I follow, you lead, or follow me and I lead. It is about mutual respect for the individual adult that you are in a relationship with. You have to sit down, compromise, and come together and agree or disagree on things. There is no superior, inferior, adult versus child relationship. And that, if that was to happen and men really understood that that's what it takes to have a real relationship with women, patriarchy would come to a crashing end, because males who would become men would understand that the rights of women are equally important as the rights of men, and women and their ability to be free have full self-autonomy, including abortion rights and the right to live a life free of men, free of children, free of whatever they don't want in their life, is fully acceptable in society, is what women are trying to get these fucking fools to understand in order for society and America to get better. But women, if these males, especially white males in the patriarchy that are in the government, are out here trying to force upon you project2025.org, and now Trump has come out with some new bullshit called Agenda 47, where he intends to take away all Black education, all Black history, change the education system in general. He wants to get rid of all immigrants, get rid of immigrants' rights to work, vote, etc. He wants to become a dictator in America. For those of you that think that this shit is alluring or it sounds good, it only sounds good to you because it's someone else until it becomes you. And with this dude being a racist white man, basically a member of the Ku Klux Klan, it will be you in a matter of time if you vote for assholes like this. What I suggest, because there was a poll done the other day on the Young Turks independent news channel on YouTube, they polled young people between the age of 15 to 35. And they asked them if they would live and take occupations offered to them, new jobs offered to them in red states that had either full abortion bans or abortion bans to the extent where it was equivalent to a full ban. The answer was no. So what that is going to do in the future is what it should do. It is going to take the revenue that is generated from a full thriving society out of Republican states and force all of these people into other states that do not have these abortion bans. You would think these dumb motherfuckers that are supposed to be smart in government would figure this out, when all they have to do is respect women, give women equal rights in the country. And yes, I'm talking about full-blown femininity and that word y'all love to hate, okay? I don't know why they have a problem with feminism, because all it is equal rights for women. But they hate that word, but I love it, okay? And it is that simple. Put Roe versus Wade, put Roe back on the books, allow women to live their lives however they want to, and you'd have a better society. Increase women's pay overall, get rid of the poverty, get rid of the slums, get rid of the ghettos and everything else that keeps women downtrodden and children ignorant, and silly ass women who live in poverty, who have children before they should, putting their children into the care of ACS because they have a point to make or they want to stick it to their children's father. Like, all of that bullshit stops when you actually give people a real opportunity to live lives free. I don't mean free to be fucking ridiculous and cause anarchy, but I mean free to pursue their goals in life, free to feel that honestly, whatever you want to achieve through education and have as a career or a job in life is truly available to you. So the diversity and inclusion really needs to be included throughout America. If this patriarchy and these men and businesses like Bumble and etc. really want those bullshit ad campaigns that they have out now talking about, celibacy is not really the answer. If you want that to work, then you got to give something to make women, especially Black women, feel like it's worth the fucking time. It's worth us putting our life on the line, to have children, to populate your country, to grow your economy, for you to use our children. If you're going to use our children, you need to give them something in life for it. And that's the problem with all of these people in business and the government itself, is because they want to use the growth of population to fuel the economy of the country without giving the poor people anything in return. That is the entire problem. So in closing this video, my opinion is Black women, to eliminate the silly ass Black women that I saw the other day of this young stripper mother putting her 5 to 7 children into the care of Child Protective Services. So to avoid shit like that, stop having children before you're prepared to take care of them, both financially and economically. And that's the end of it. Have a good day, Black women. Be well.